everybody. Welcome to the Mom's View. My name's Shahrzad, and I'm surrounded by beautiful blondes today. Ooh. You guys are hot. We have a special guest, Britt. Welcome.
Thank you
so
so
happy
much.
that you're here.
Thank you.
Just so you guys at home know, you can always keep the convo going by tweeting at us and using the hashtag TMVTalk. We can't wait to connect with you guys. It's update time. Woo! Okay, Britt, tell us about you. Tell us about your channel. What do you cover? We want to know everything.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is now Britt HeyKayli.
Okay.
I used to be Work Smart Mompreneurs. So I used to do a lot of information about helping moms to follow their dreams while they raise their kids. And now I'm switching more into, I forgot to follow my dreams, so now I'm going to be talking more about that.
And what are your dreams?
My dreams, I'm writing a screenplay, and
cool.
I actually finished, I'm getting a little flushed. I finished writing it about 3 weeks ago, so I'm just in the editing process.
That's
but
so cool.
I completely put all of this stuff on hold to have kids, and then also decided I wanted to go into the business world because I thought that's what I needed to do. And I was not following my dreams at all. When I was applying to colleges, I wrote about getting my Oscar for my movie that I created, and so I completely need to go back and to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
What's your screenplay about?
It is about a woman who gets completely wrapped up in social media.
Okay.
Sure, that's my life right now.
She forgets about her life and, you know, kind of the things that matter. And so life as it does in the real world takes you on a wild ride and, you know, kind of shows you what you need to learn, whether you are ready to face it or not. And so that's kind of the story.
Oh,
That's amazing.
cool.
Really interesting. I think that is like a huge thing that everybody could relate to, because there's so many times where it's like feeling the need to tweet or to post, and it's like, I don't think people care, and I'm probably more guilty than anybody, but it's a good source of my life that I wish sometimes I could just like take it away.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
I need little social media holidays myself too. Just like put the phone down for at least an hour.
Right.
You know, because I'm guilty of like watching TV and like being online too, and I'm like, why am I so
Casey hates
consumed?
it. Like, when we hang out, we'll be like, let's watch a movie. We'll invite Casey so he feels involved, and he'll make fun of us because we'll just be on our phones. Like, look at this picture, guys.
I know.
He's
I'm
like,
that
have
way
you
too.
seen what's going on? I'm like, no, what happened?
Yeah,
like,
I
you
know.
Guys.
It's terrible, right?
I think also I read a blog post on a blog that I really love, and she was talking about how we live by numbers. We put a picture on Instagram, and then we're constantly checking how many likes does it have, or on Twitter, how many people retweeted it. We're constantly living by numbers, and not only with social media, but big time with social media, but and just life in general. How much do I weigh? Like, we're trying to always like get these great numbers when we need to stop living by numbers.
That's true. I've never thought about that before.
I didn't either, and then I was like, am I living by numbers? And now when I put something on Instagram or when someone else does and we're all checking it, like, stop living by numbers.
Stop that. But in this business, it's kind of hard because that's also what like goes with our job.
matter,
I know.
And that's
Views,
what she-
numbers.
That's what she was talking about with her blog, because numbers don't really create like true happiness.
Good.
So it's going to be good. We already get it.
Yeah.
Good.
Totally get it.
So it has the mom's view approval.
Yes,
then.
stamp of approval.
If you need to cast me for it, I mean, I'll see if I'm open.
Okay, we might be able to arrange that.
Any updates, ladies? Carly,
I finally
do you
have
an
one.
update?
I'm not pregnant still, but I brought a little guest today. We just made new tanks through ODR Arcade. You guys can purchase them. It says, "Don't give up on you," and they have them in black for guys too.
I love that.
So if you're daring enough, these are the new tanks through ODR Arcade, and I'm excited because we're actually going to be doing. If you buy a tank, your name gets put in a drawing, and I'm going to make a customized regimen, workout, and diet for you for the month of January.
Me.
So cool.
So if you are looking to get on your fitness game and you want to become more healthier, buy a tank. You'll get put in a drawing for a personalized workout and diet
That is
plan
such
for
a good
January.
idea.
I love
Thank
these.
you.
I love that
this color.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll kick off into some more fitness stuff that I've been wanting to get after. This will be my kick in the butt. So
Do you have prego sizes in these?
yeah, girl.
Hey.
I just like cut out the hole so your belly will fit.
Oh my God, that
Don't
would
give
look
up on
terrible.
my baby.
Do you know what I really want you to do is videos for Shahrzad and I.
I'm getting yoga certified, so we can do
me.
prenatal
Yoga.
yoga. You
Yes,
can connect
let's
with
do
your
it.
baby.
a place for
do it.
yoga.
Cool.
I love that.
Are you guys ready for our topic of the day?
Yes.
Okay, our topic of the day is parenting with autism, and this is a topic we've been wanting to cover on the Mom's View for a while. So we have a very special guest that is joining us remotely. Her name is Virginia Breen, and her daughter Elizabeth wrote this book, I Am In Here, which talks about their journey with autism together as mother and daughter. Hi, Virginia. Welcome to the Moms View.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your schedule. We would all love to hear about your journey with autism and your daughter's journey as well.
Oh, terrific. Thank you so much. Elizabeth is a 15-year-old young lady today, and she has autism and she can't speak. So she is low verbal, as we say. And for many of the children who are low verbal, it is, quite like they're in a silent cage. They're trapped with no way to communicate. And we had that situation for many years until we found a method for her to type out what she was in her beautiful mind. And so this book is a collection of about 70 of her poems. And then I've written stories around the poems about our journey of how she found her voice.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That sounds beautiful.
Yes, and autism is so different for so many children. Elizabeth's older brother, Charles, also has autism, but he's verbal. I'm sure you're aware in our society today, 1 in 50 children have autism. And so it's an epidemic, and it is something that we need to combat medically and educationally because these children are very capable. It's just that their brains are wired differently, and we have to figure out ways to both get them better medically and also to educate them.
How do you feel like you balance your family life being the mom of these special kids?
Well, it's hard. It's really hard. I think it's hard for any mom. And then when you add on top of that having a medical condition and educational challenges, it makes it really a tough balance. And so I think that one of the things that most of our moms want to know is how can I help? You know, a lot of you probably know somebody who has a child with special needs. 20% of children in schools today have some kind of special need. And so I always say, don't be afraid to ask if you can do something like a respite, because in fact, it is pretty overwhelming to try to balance everything.
What advice would you give parents of children with autism?
I think that it is a treatable medical condition. And so these children are not children who can just be put aside in our society. They need to be treated with many different types of treatment. You start oftentimes with their digestive system, and then you move on to their immune system. And taking each part, you can get them better. And then the educational part is very complicated, but as they start to feel better, they actually have an ability to learn just like other children. And so the number one thing is to get your child to see a doctor that believes that autism is treatable, and then find teachers who, despite them, rocking and shaking, will understand that they are in there. I would love if I could to just read, for example, the title poem of Elizabeth's book, because in fact, she says it so much better than I, what it means to have autism. Most of her poems are really telling parents, don't give up hope. Your child is in there. And so I'd love to just use her words because they're really much better than mine.
We would love to hear that. Yeah, thank you. Please share. Yeah.
Her title poem is Me. I sometimes fear that people cannot understand that I hear. And I know that they don't believe I go to every extreme to try to express my need to talk. If only they could walk in my shoes, they would share my news. I am in here and trying to speak every day in some kind of way.
Wow, that's beautiful.
How do you feel like your daughter has changed since she was able to start expressing herself through her poetry?
Oh, gosh, what a great question, because the world changed. She went from a child who was being taught things that were remedial repeatedly for years, to then a child who was mainstreamed in public school with an aide. And so the world changed for her. And instead of being so frustrated and and hitting herself in frustration, she would start making these wonderful poems about God and the world around her. I mean, she is incredibly sensitive to spiritual things. And so, you know, again, this view that we have of autism, which equates low functioning with nonverbal, we just have to change the way the world sees autism, because, you know, her first grade teacher told me that she sees her as a buried treasure. And I thought, that's just a great way of seeing these children with special needs. You know, it's kind of hard to reach them sometimes, but it's worth it. And if you have educators and doctors who are on your team, you can do it as the mom and being the head cheerleader and the coordinator, you can get your child better.
I love the way you light up when you talk about your daughter. You're really like glowing when you talk about her. It's beautiful to see.
I was just going to ask how you take care of yourself as a mom, because it takes so much energy to take care of, to be a mom in general takes so much energy, but to have a child with special needs, you have to do that much more. So do you have any tips for moms who maybe are at their wit's end?
I think that it's a very difficult thing to keep balance in any mom's life. And I think that asking for help is a big way of letting other people share that challenge with you. And so I would say that it is a combination of having people in my life who have helped. It's not just me. It's a team of people, including family and friends and professionals. And also, I think it really comes down to your spiritual life. You know, whatever your faith is, you have to keep focused on how, for me, God will get me through this. It's a challenge, and that I believe that I'm not alone in it. So I think that it's a very difficult thing, but that it is one that I feel has enriched my faith as it's tested it.
Thank you again so much for sharing.
You're amazing.
It was so nice to meet you in cyberspace. Sending lots of love to you and your daughter.
Yes.
She is she's very special, and I hope that her message, I mean, she has a mission. I mean, her mission really is to speak for those who don't have a voice. And she really wants the poetry to help those children give their parents the encouragement to find a communication method. It may be this method we found for her, called the rapid prompting method. It may be some other method, but there has to be a way that your child can use a device or a letterboard, anything, to be able to communicate meaningful thoughts, because they're in there. They're just trapped.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you so much again, and I hope to either meet you in Cyberland again or in person.
Yes.
Anytime, ladies, anytime.
And if you guys want to get more information, you can pick up her book, I Am In Here, or check out the website, IamInHereBook.com, to learn more about Virginia and her daughter, Elizabeth.
I can't wait to read this.
I know, me too.
She's such an amazing mom. Like you said, when she would just light up talking about her daughter.
Did.
So beautiful.
I think she's just taken the whole situation, and like I love when well, maybe because she said cheerleader, but she said that's what you have to be as a mom sometimes, even out of the worst situation, just always like, no matter how bad your team's losing, like, we can do this, we can pull through. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the aspect of the team, you know,
right,
that
we're working together.
Yeah, the team is critical, you know, so then you don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
And being comfortable asking for help. You know, I feel like so many people feel like they have too much pride to ask anybody for help, but people want to help a lot of the time too.
Right.
So
and
that's
sharing
really
her
important.
story, how hard is it to be like, this is our vulnerable thing with our family, it's hard to go through, but she's just willing to share it. And I think that maybe that's helped bless their lives.
I think this will change a lot of people's lives, giving them hope.
Yeah, because I didn't even know, I mean, there's, like you said, it's like a level of spectrum, like there's so many different things, and I didn't know that that was, you know, a part of autism that could happen.
Yeah, it's sad to think that somebody has so much to say and can't get it out.
Brilliant. That
You
poem
know?
was beautiful.
I
and
know.
so well like put together, but
And she's a teenager too,
Yeah.
you know, writing beautiful poetry and expressing herself.
Well, and I think there are so many moms who are kind of, you know, I know with my sister whose son has autism, there's just so much guilt that kind of, especially in the beginning when they first get diagnosed, there's a lot of like kind of guilt, like, did I do something to cause this? And so to know that they have their child in there and it's that, what did she say, buried treasure? That's so sweet. It's true, yeah. You just have to keep digging, you know.
And she clearly didn't give up, and then she was, you know, sort of blessed with this breakthrough, I guess, way of communicating.
Well, there's a lot of different types of communication. I think you just have to figure out which one, you know, as all children are different, you know, they can communicate differently, and you just have to find which one works best with your kid.
Right.
and to be able to say I wrote a book at 15 years old, no matter what condition you have, that's pretty amazing.
I know, that is pretty amazing.
Good on you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, now it's our time to chat with our audience. We have some Twitter questions. The first one is from Nathan. He says, what are your views on doctors diagnosing children with disabilities at a young age? Do the moms look for signs in their kids? I feel like so many doctors are quick to prescribe something. That's just my opinion. Like, oh, something's wrong, take a pill. Yeah.
I think it's about educating yourself and really knowing your child, but also having that open mind, because sometimes as a mother you want to protect yourself and the things you've done, and well, my son's not sick because of me, you know what I'm saying? So keeping the balance of educating yourself, keeping your mind open to a possibility, and just being able to look at things levelly and not personally as a mother, and feeling like I did this, or it's because they're not normal, or, you know, whatever. But also I think doctors are, you know, they are doctors, but they're human and they make mistakes, and I think it's very important to get a second opinion with any doctor and just educate yourself as much as you can.
I think that's definitely important. And the thing is, too, with autism, it's kind of like catch-22, because you don't want to label your child, but at the same time, the sooner they start getting treatment, the better. So it's like, if you can start, if you have kind of an idea that your child's maybe not making eye contact with you, or there's something off, as a mom, you just kind of know something's off. My daughter has ADHD. I knew she had ADHD from a very young age, partly because my husband has it, but also because her behavior was different from my older two. So, you know, if you as a mom kind of have that feeling, I definitely would go into a doctor and maybe get a second opinion if you're not getting the right, you know, the answer that your gut's telling you.
Yeah.
Well, when I was young, I was diagnosed with ADD and got put on medication when I was really young and had bad reactions towards it. So I feel like it's okay. I mean, you definitely should get a second opinion, but I feel like that's a doctor's job to diagnose your child or to help you out. I don't always necessarily think turning to medication is the answer.
Right.
I like to use a lot of different oils and stuff like that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's such a big debate.
We struggled with
wanna
it.
know,
With
and
our daughter, we did not, my husband was really adamantly opposed to medication.
Did he take it when he was younger?
He never did, and he never has. But if you look at the 20 checklist of the 20 symptoms, he's 19.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, he probably could have benefited, but he made it through. With our daughter, she was struggling in school. She was struggling socially. We tried everything with, you know, a lot of alternative diet and supplements and things like that. Nothing really worked.
Right,
So
I mean, sometimes that's the only answer. I really struggled in school too, and that's why my parents were like, we need to help you. But then I got really depressed, and then I wouldn't take anything. My parents were like, you have to, but I just refused because I got really depressed. But I'm grateful for doctors. And
Well, we live in this society in this day for a reason, and there's modern, you know, medicine, and I think that sometimes there's too many people who are like, oh, that's not good for you, but there's also so much that save lives and has helped people. So educating yourself and keeping yourself open, I think.
Right.
I think a nice mix of Eastern and Western medicine is always good. Like when you get, you know, shot, Western medicine is gonna help you. Right. There's no herb to cure a gunshot wound or anything like that. But yeah, in general, I feel like a lot of doctors are just pushing pills a little bit.
And they do. I've been to 2 different doctors that were like, you're depressed, you need antidepressants. And I was like, I'm depressed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to work out.
I think it's good though, like you said, because I feel like a lot of the times it's easier to turn to taking a pill. But changing your diet, changing so many things in your life can help a lot with depression or with the things that I think doctors are really looking for and quick to give you medication for. But if we change if we change the big things in our lives, like our diet and the way we're taking care of ourselves, that can make such a huge difference. But I also believe that if you're struggling with depression, you should definitely talk to a doctor, and medication is okay.
Yeah, for some things, and if it works for her, then that's great.
Right.
Yeah, or works for anybody.
Get some chocolate and a Slurpee.
Yeah, I know. Ben and Jerry's
Chocolate totally works. It does.
We have another Twitter question. This is from Sunshine. I would like suggestions on how to cope with sad news. It's so sad to think that your child won't live a normal lifestyle. Do you guys have suggestions in general on how to cope with sad news when it comes to your kids?
I think it's important for moms to keep in mind, too, that to the kids, this is normal for them.
Right.
So it's not sad for them. Right. Somebody's putting a label on them. Has more to do with the mom's reaction to it. For the kids, they're going to live a normal lifestyle as long as the parents kind of are doing what they need to do and providing, you know, all of the things that they need to do to have a happy, healthy life, you know?
Right.
I love that. I think really what happened, like life should honestly be 90% of our, like 99% of our perspective and 1% of what happens to us. You can take, and Shay is always big on this, well, happiness is a choice. And as much as I agree with that, I also feel like sometimes sad things happen and you have a right to feel sad, you have a right to feel angry. And when things happen that you're not planning on or that are different outside the normal, you feel like, well, my son's going to have an unnormal life or daughter or whatever. Right. But your perspective or how the mother reacts is a big part of that. You know, you can be sad with them and be stressed out, but how is that going to help your child? You have to be the cheerleader. And as a cheerleader, you always have to have your palms and like just be ready to make the best of things. And I mean, as god awful as that is to have, you know, something come up that's like medically, you know, with your children because you love them, you want the best for them, it has to be about your perspective and how you see that and how you're going to lead your children into their lives. And if you lead with, this is so hard, this is so stressful, that's how they're going to follow you. And so my response would be, it's as hard as it is, sometimes we have to change our perspective and just shift it a little bit and just try to be positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think Virginia is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
She was literally like glowing through Skype. Like
She
exactly
was.
what you said. I was
She
like
was.
blown away. Like,
beautiful.
wow.
And that's going to rub off on her daughter to know that her mom believes in her and is so happy that she's her daughter. And, you know, I think that's just going to rub off on her daughter and then rub back off on her. You know, it's
and hopefully
such a beautiful thing.
That film was
influenced so many other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that she might be talking about too, and I know this is something that other parents who I know who have kids with special needs, is that the expectation of having a child that's a typically developing child and then discovering that you're not going to have that sort of fairy tale that you thought that your child was going to one day grow up and have a job and get married and be successful. I think we as parents, if we have a child that's diagnosed with something like that, just need to sort of rewire our brain a little bit to sort of focus on, you know, this is what today is, and today I'm going to put a smile on my face, and, you know, maybe it's going to be tough, but, you know, this is my reality now.
Right.
And just be happy with that as much as you can.
Like, what's even normal anymore? Like you said, like our jobs as parents, they don't give us our children at the hospital and say, okay, go raise a normal child or give them a normal life. Like, my normal is different than your normal, which is different than your normal, which is also different in Idaho. You know, being a divorced single mom isn't as common in Pocatello, Idaho, where everybody has 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. Yeah. But in California, it's very normal, you know? And so it's about how you address your situation and just flourish, you know, kind of bring light to wherever you're living and make the best of it. Because Cooper's normal isn't your children's normal. And I mean, what is normal anymore these days? You know, anything goes. So
absolutely. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Britt. It was so nice to meet you and get to know you. Thank you, Virginia and Cyberland.
Yes,
and thank you guys for watching. We will be back next Thursday at 2. Bye.